All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there just like you, just like me. So, another band postpones a concert due to illness. Seeing this a lot. Some people say, what's the big deal? I think it's kind of like what the beginning of summer. Most people aren't getting sick. I mean, I haven't turned on the news to find out how many cases of whatever they're finding. I'm sure they could bring that back if they wanted to scare the daylights out of everybody. How many cases? Did you have a test? What did you test for? Did you test for the 9 different variations of the same thing? And did you panic after you got your results? So, we're going to talk about this really cool band that you probably haven't heard of because, again, this will give me an opportunity to talk about the band, but it is a little bit concerning that, you had Bruce Springsteen, you got Stevie Nicks, you've got other people out there who, advocate basically to, shelter in place and stay indoors and don't go out. I mean, I'm not going to, people want me to forget what happened 3 years ago. Yeah, it's no, until there's accountability, until there's a reckoning, until there's justice. Did you see the little elf doctor do his testimony the other day? And then he was on TV saying, well, if I didn't do what I did, it would have been millions and millions more people would have died if I didn't intervene and be the science, right? Yeah, I'm sorry, my Fauci is a little rusty here. So anyway, let's talk about Whiskey Myers. Before we talk about Whiskey Myers, this just gives me an opportunity to celebrate a really cool band that people may or may not know about. Before I do that, I'm celebrating this because I don't have any Whiskey Myers. I should buy some. Wandering Star by the band Flatland Calvary. This is just great stuff. This is what the band looks like. Authentic West Texas red dirt sounding music. And this is the kind of stuff I would prefer if I was to just listen to country music. Although, again, I have a soft spot for the 90s and a lot of stuff from this particular genre. They're cool with the 90s, because it was more authentic. But these guys are probably even more rootsy and more raw, much like Whiskey Myers, which, if you don't know about Whiskey Myers, they had this album probably 10 years ago called Firewater. And one song in particular, if you go listen to it, called Broken Window Serenade. Wow. Good stuff. I mean, anywhere between very aggressive Leonard Skinner stuff to maybe Eagles or some other acoustic sounding music from the 70s. Just a really cool band, but again, hard to just put them in one place. They're just really good, authentic music of various genres, but they definitely lean country and country rock, southern rock in that territory. Well, the band has canceled some gigs, or at least one that we know of so far. This concert in Santa Barbara, due to the frontman, whose name is Cody Cannon, fighting through illness. Now, what does that mean? I see this a lot, fighting through illness. What kind of illness? We don't know. And the next sentence kind of echoes what I'm attempting to say here. They didn't specify exactly what the sickness was, though the statement explained that he needs time to recover and avoid long-term vocal damage. Now, I'm not implying anything here, but it does seem kind of weird that, remember, everyone said you do this certain thing. And even the other day, the little elves on whatever MSNBC or whatever said, the graph had all of the people that didn't do it like this. And then the graph for all the people that did do the protocol that I had told them to do, the graph was like this, meaning the number of people who died from whatever the government did. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. Just who knows? We don't know. It's a mystery how this came to be. Some people think it originated somewhere in the Far East. And then, I have even more nefarious views on this. Apparently, I believe that something happened right here in the good old United States. And it's good to go ahead and blame another country that, you're supposedly always in conflict with, because then people will dislike that country. So, yes, we need to dislike more countries so we can start more wars. Anyway, this guy, Cody Cannon, has been fighting through illness these past few shows and doing everything possible to give you the show you deserve. However, due to the fact that he cannot sing, we need to cancel tonight's concert in Santa Barbara to give him time to recover and avoid long-term vocal damage. We know this is a huge bummer. Again, this is the statements they always put out to concert goers who have probably bought tickets, maybe in some cases booked a hotel room, because, if you're getting out of a concert at 11 or 12 o'clock, you don't want to drive 2 or 3 hours to get home if the show isn't close to where you live. Anyway, refunds will be available at the point of purchase. So if you're going to see Whiskey Myers in Santa Barbara, you'll get a full refund. But guess what? They won't be back until 2025. So as of right now, the rest of the shows this week are still happening. Kind of sounds like maybe he's just worn down. And, you go to a hotel room, there are a bunch of germs. You go to another hotel room, there are a bunch of germs. See, this is kind of the normal part of living. But now it's weird. Why don't they just tell you, he's got a sore throat, he's got a cold, he's got whatever. Just put it out there. Let people know. Because then you have people like me speculating, hey, what is wrong with this guy? Why on every report do they have to say sudden illness or undisclosed illness? I mean, unless it's something that you did to yourself, like substance abuse, I mean, I guess that might be a reason why you wouldn't want to share that information. And it's not like I'm looking for an overshare. I don't need every detail of what's going on with this. Just, hey, so-and-so came down with blank, and that's a pretty typical thing. Needs a few days to rest, not undisclosed illness, because then there's an element of secrecy. And then people like me, like I say here, to just start to think, okay, what could this be? And why don't they just tell us? All right. So I think I've beat that horse to death. But again, you had like Stevie Nicks and Bruce Springsteen, and you'll have other people that will have to postpone a show or two, just because it's the nature of going out on tour. This, again, I'm not trying to say this is a conspiracy, but I'm just curious as to why people can't be more transparent about it. Because we're not going to hate you if you're transparent. We're not going to think, oh, really? You got that? Oh, I never get that. I'm not going to go see your shows. It just doesn't make any sense. In fact, you'd probably garner a little bit more sympathy if you just put the truth out. People would say, wow, okay. Now, if the truth is something really bad, it has to do with something that happened 3 years ago, and apparently is still being recommended that you do, right? I don't know what the uptick is. I heard it was like 10%, maybe 20%. 85% of the country, though, ran screaming and yelling to do this back in 2021. And there are people like Sammy Hagar, I did a video about him, who definitely have regrets about it. So anyway, Whiskey Myers, check out that band. At the very least, if this video does anything for you other than, just confuse you, which it probably did, go check out Whiskey Myers, because Whiskey Myers is one cool band. They don't get radio support. A lot like Blackberry Smoke. There are other bands like this out there that build an audience all by themselves. They hear about it. People hear about it from other people. And then they go, yeah, that's really good. Wonder why they don't play this on the radio. I get that all the time. And it's, no, not even on Sirius XM. They probably, maybe they have an outlaw station. But see, now we're getting into such a narrow focus that most people aren't going to hear their music on any type of radio station, which is just sad. This should be on a rock station. That's where I would put Whiskey Myers. That's where we put Steve Earle in the old days, if you remember. Charlie Daniels Band was another band that, I don't know, should they be country? Should they be rock? They were on top 40 at one point. Still in Saigon was a top 40 record. There are other Charlie Daniels songs that went on the top 40. We've come a long way from those days, and we're not going back there, apparently. All right, here's Flatland Cavalry. This is good stuff. Not maybe as interesting to some as Whiskey Myers. So maybe I need to get a Whiskey Myers CD for my collection. But these guys are really good. I'm not trying to downplay this. I'm just saying if you like Whiskey Myers, you might enjoy Flatland Cavalry in your collection. Independent band from West Texas and doing quite well, getting a lot of views on their videos when they put them out. All right, people, that's it. God bless everyone. Please stay safe and healthy out there. Do the protocol of taking care of yourself and building up your immune system. Yes, it is possible. It can be done. Don't listen to the medical industrial complex about your health. Take matters into your own hands and do what you can, because life is short. And another thing you can do is have a relationship with God, because they say people who believe in God typically live longer, are happier, are healthier, and are more well-adjusted. And yes, I don't have the study in front of me, but I've read a few books, and typically that's what it says. So God bless, and I will see you soon.